Good morning, wherever you are in the world. Maybe good evening. I'm super excited to be talking about money with you guys today because holy moly, is it just a fiery subject. Like, it just ignites my soul and I get super stoked about it. So hopefully, if you don't feel that way, by leaning into opening this dialogue and getting a little bit more comfortable with talking about money, which oftentimes comes so loaded and charged with emotion, we can begin to soften some of that and release some of the outdated stories so that we can all well and truly thrive. So I'm more than open to answering questions along the way as well. Hey, Ash. But I will start with responding to this question that I received from a DM the last few days, which is how to create true abundance around yourself when you have little money in the bank. And this also reflects a few of the other questions I got, which is, where do I even start? How do I even ask a proper question because I'm so stuck? And that causes me literal pain, right? Because money is something we make contact with every single day. And everything we use, everything we touch, everything that we're blessed with usually has some form of exchange around it monetarily too. So it's this thing that is around us all day, every day. And if we're not in a thriving relationship with it, it's like being in a shitty dating relationship your whole life, right? And that's what I see so many people that are a lot older get really stuck in. Because as soon as we say, oh, I know, or this is the way it is, we block our capacity to change. So I want to invite you to at least open that channel for change, even though it's scary as fuck, because changing means that, yeah, things are going to change and it's uncomfortable. But also, when we intend to create abundance and we intend to create a healthier relationship with money, what is demanded of us is that we actually lean into what is not so great about our relationship with money. We have to work with the shadow to then get to the light, right? The power of duality. So if we're looking for abundance and we've set abundance or prosperity or financial freedom as our core desired feeling, we have to be very mindfully prepared that what we're actually going to get is the journey of the opposite to get there. That's the beauty of duality, right? We have to first go into where our blocks are with money so that we can get the abundance and the healthy, thriving relationship that we really want with it. So how do we create true abundance around ourselves when we actually have no physical reflection that that is true yet? I want to ask you guys right now who are live to drop in the comment below what the feeling of abundance feels like in a few other words, and when have you truly felt abundant? So when have you felt truly abundant? Drop that in the comment box below. And I'll share with my own experiences is that true abundance oftentimes is actually not related to the physical entity of money at all. It's a feeling that comes from within us. We generate it. It's just conditional only when we put conditions around it. So if our happiness is conditional on having the guy and we don't have the guy, we're going to feel unhappy. So if our, love that one, Ash. Totally. Financial freedom to have choice and options. Love that. I'm with you. So if we also create those same conditions around our bank account having a certain number in it for us to feel safe, and whenever that bank account doesn't have that number in it, we don't feel safe, that's not a really great story to carry around, is it? Now, of course, we all are worthy of our basic needs being totally taken care of and totally covered, right? And I'm guessing that if you're on Instagram right now, you have a Wi-Fi connection, you have a roof over your head, and you're drinking clean water that comes out of your shower head, right? Those are incredible blessings. Just number one, there are billions of people on this planet that do not even have those basic needs covered. So from the get-go, you can create a feeling of safety and abundance just from the very, very seemingly throwaway blessings that you have access to every single day. that will kickstart this rampage of getting into an appreciation state instead of looking at what is lacking. So when we're creating abundance for ourselves, like I said, it's coming from our internal shifts, not from the external world. We have to start with our inner realms first to see the external world shift. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting more of the same. Am I right? Who else is stuck in a cycle where they go, I just can't get it. I don't know what happens. I learn this new thing and then I choose not to implement it. So what's happening, especially when we're talking about money, is that it's so deeply tied around our sense of self-worth. So worthiness is the biggest theme when we talk about our bank account. How worthy are you believing yourself to be receiving abundance? How worthy are you to receive abundance effortlessly? And getting curious about what emotional charge is attached to this feeling of abundance. So it might be all well and good to like make your vision board and think about, oh yeah, I'd love that trip to Bali and I'd love to have 10K in my savings account. And that's all well and good. But if you look at that hard enough and there's this feeling of guilt or shame or, oh, I'm going to have to work so hard for that and I don't really want to work hard, so I'm just going to have to let that go. All of these contrasting beliefs are blocking that channel of abundance to come into you too. So getting really clear around how it is you feel about money, and the easiest way to unlock these blocks, which was another question I got, how do we actually reveal the blocks that we have? Because we might not know what they are, and what we don't know, right? And when we don't know what's running our system, we don't have any awareness or choice in the matter of what we are choosing to believe and what story we're choosing to live out. So unlocking these stories is incredibly important. And how you can start this is writing a love letter to money. And by love letter, it might be more of a bashing letter or like a hate letter to start off with. And that's just letting yourself be truly reckless and raw and honest to money about how it served you, how it hasn't shown up when you've really needed it, how you feel about it, how it was in your home growing up. And that will along the way reveal some of those stories to you of where you're stuck with your worthiness of receiving and how you really think about getting and acquiring abundance. A lot of us have these stories attached that we have to really work hard for money. And a lot of us don't really want to work hard. So once again, if that inner conflict is happening, we self-sabotage. So we create true abundance around ourselves when we have that little physical reflection in real life by first honoring our internal state. And it's always going to start here anyway. So take responsibility for your internal landscape. I feel like I won't be able to stress this point enough this year. So warning, a bit of tough love is definitely coming up, because when I think about the world where every woman is thriving, it's women who have held themselves accountable for their values. It's women who are prioritizing their alignment. It's women who are choosing themselves first so they can be fully thriving, so then they can serve others in a greater capacity. And if you want to be one of those women that are just freaking going to change the fucking world, then you absolutely need to take responsibility for your inner workings, your inner realm. The way that you are set up is not your fault. It is a byproduct of a childhood. It's a byproduct of many, many years of conditioning, but it is your responsibility to begin to shift some of those stories that are holding you stuck and holding you captive now. And when we talk about money, so many women are charged with all of these stories about, we don't get equal pay in the workplace, or there's so much pain attached to our worthiness as this kind of new paradigm about women making money is coming. This is all very recent, so we're on the leading edge of what it means to be a thriving, abundant woman. And if you want to be a part of that, I invite you. Let's dance. Let's do that together. But we first have to start to be accountable for our own belief systems and our own stories and programs that we're running around our relationship to money. So creating true abundance for yourself looks like tapping into that feeling in a way that is personal to you. So I'm curious to hear once again, what is a moment in time of a true abundance that you can tell me about in the comment box below? For me, true abundance feels like sitting outside, listening to the birds with a cup of tea. And in reality, how much does that cost, right? Or true abundance feels like waking up in the morning and not having to go to a job that I dread. It's waking up in the morning and being able to choose, can I stay and lie in for another 5 minutes? Or maybe I'll get up and go work out, and having that freedom of choice to do what I want in my morning ritual. That's what abundance is for me. And of course, it's not directly related to rolling around naked in dollar bills, but money plays a part because money gives me options, money gives me freedom, money gives me choice of how to spend my time. And that's what it is for all of us, and I wish all of that for all of us, right? So it's connecting to the feeling of this state of abundance as often as you can through the small, beautiful things that make you feel totally lush. And even last night I played with this. I played a Spotify playlist that made me feel rich and abundant because I was like, I lit all my candles, I diffused some essential oils. Hello, that makes me feel like I'm the most precious royal thing in the world. And then I wrote a list of what would the rich version of me be doing. And what's funny about that is that it's still me right now, desires these things, but I'm not yet doing them because I'm not in the state of a rich person just yet. And so what my journey is to close that gap, is to quantum jump into that person today so that life can catch up with me. Because the physical has a little bit of lag time, right? When we decide to consciously make a change, whether it's about our body, our healthy eating, creating a new practice like meditation in our lives, we have to become the person first before the actual action and side effect occurs. So if you've already written your love letter to money, or at least jot down that you're going to write a love letter to money to clear out all that baggage and shit that you have toward it, whether that's anger, whether that's resentment, whether that's guilt and shame about earning more money than your family system. What did you learn about money throughout your childhood? Was it the source of all evil? Was it the source of arguments between your parents? How have you linked being truly abundant with a belief that is holding you stuck and captive? And then after that, I want you to fill a full page of what the richer version of you would be doing. How would they show up? How would they act? For me, it's getting a massage. That to me sounds so luxurious. Like, I don't think I've ever had a massage in Australia. No, the last massage I had would have been in a retreat that I volunteered to get 2.5 or 3 years ago. So for me, I wrote down on my list, she gets massages, and I've booked in for one this week. Another one that I did this week was the rich version of me would go to the dentist, because the traveler version of me has not gone to the dentist for 10 years because I've chosen to use any money I could save for flights. So I went to the dentist a few days ago and I felt so fucking like thriving, you know? And so that page was full of things that I would do if I were rich, if my bank account did have a certain number in it that I am intending to do so. But what I know about the way the world works and the way that energy shifts and the way that our belief systems are rewired is that we have to become that person first before life can catch up. And that lag time, there's no rules on that lag time too. If that doesn't turn you on as a belief, don't take it, please. Maybe things happen instantaneously for you, and that's amazing. You can definitely choose to believe that too. And thirdly, after writing your money love letter, of clearing all the baggage, like you would with an ex, right? Like, here's all the things I resent you for. Get that shit out of your body. Dump it. Burn the letter and then write an appreciation list for how money has shown up for you. Maybe it's been right at the last minute, or maybe it's just focusing on your basic needs that are always met. As like I said, if you're on here, your basic needs are always met, and that's fucking awesome. Billions of people don't have access to that, so you can cultivate appreciation for this. Number 2, what would the richer version of you be doing? How would they show up? Fill a page. Get into that vibe. Maybe meditate with this every morning for a month if you can. Take 2 minutes. Put your insight timer on for 2 minutes to pretend that you are the richest version of yourself that you could wildly imagine, and begin to notice automatically what blocks come up, because you will notice them. Whenever we want to shift into a direction of change, if it's toward a more positive state of being, like abundance, we have to look at the shadow, which is, oh shit, where am I being scarce? Where am I believing that there's not enough? Where am I totally playing out this story of lack that has been the collective story? And then how can I tend to that to keep moving toward abundance? Numero 3, and I hope I haven't forgotten this. I'm just making this up as I go along too with what flows. So there actually isn't a list that I wrote, but I did have it before. Number 3 is, one of the biggest things that has helped me shift my money story and become more open for opportunities, for different streams of income to come in, for money to just kind of blow my own mind, is scripting. And I read this every day, and I encourage every single one of my coaching clients to do this, which is, once you've cleared all your baggage with money and you've written your appreciation list and you've deciphered who it is that would show up if they were more generous and more abundant, then I want you to write maybe just a couple sentences of you and your relationship to money now. How do you play together? What do you create together? What does you thriving look like, so that you can become really comfortable with that idea? And also strip back this bullshit that having money is selfish, because holy shit, is that one hell of a story that has been keeping us small for way too long. Because, as you know, and every single person watching this right now, yeah, I'll save this and I'm going to send it out in my newsletter as well. But every single person watching this right now, I know that you have an incredible heart, an incredible vision for this world, and you deserve to thrive and shine so that that message can reach as many people as it needs to reach, or that product or that idea or that service can serve in a way that is truly changing of this world while you're here. And for you to do that, you need to have a loving relationship with money. So the most selfless thing that you can do is begin to work on the bullshit stories that are keeping you small and stuck. Because in reality, the world needs you to thrive, and life wants to support you to thrive. And you're so supported beyond your wildest dreams that it's just you getting in your own way. And that's what I mean about taking responsibility and being accountable. Yesterday, I had a conversation with an incredible woman in this town, and we just got juiced up on the idea of what thriving actually looks like for women. Imagine if every single mother was thriving. Imagine if every single businesswoman were thriving. The world would literally be a different place. And so instead of focusing too much on the problems that you're trying to fix, how can you bring your attention back, harness it, it is yours, and focus that onto what is going right for you, what you're worthy of, and how can it even get better than this, right? And I don't mean in the way that we're bypassing the very real pain that needs to be felt when we're releasing some of these stories. So if you come up against emotional charge of what I'm talking about, or if you're doing your own personal exploration around the stories that are holding you stuck, notice what emotions come up, and that is your work. Do not skip over them and go, oh, I have to stay positive about this. No, don't do that, because that's just further pushing them down. When an emotion comes up, like say shame about earning money for something that you love doing because you were taught as a kid that work sucks, pay attention to that shame, listen to that shame, acknowledge the shame, feel the discomfort of it, and then let it move through. You don't need to wallow and stay there, but tend to it like you would a child, softly, with a few deep breaths, and grieve it. Grieve the stories that have held you stuck. That is also such a massive piece to welcoming in true abundance, because you've allowed the emotional residue to pass of potentially, a whole lifetime of conditioning that has lost you opportunities or held you stressed. And there might be some anger around that. There might be some resentment around that. There might be some grief about the person that you could have been if you had a different story running. So it's not about going into the past and digging really deep, but it is about honoring any grief that it comes up about how these stories have kept you small. And now to welcome in the open channel for what you want to become moving forward. So, yeah. Finish that love letter off with appreciation. What tangent was I on? And then also create a safe container around having these kinds of conversations with a friend or with, whether it's a coach that you're ready to invest in. And oh my God, if something's going to stretch you, I can tell you first-handedly that the greatest investments of my life so far have not been plane tickets. As much as they've been good adventures, it has been signing over to work with a psychotherapist and a money mentor. Because when you make that monetary investment, not just energetic investment, all of you is saying, I'm ready. Let's fucking dance. Let's do this. And because there's money invested, you're going to show up in a different way than you have before. Especially when it's an amount of money that puts you on your edge and you're like, ooh, I don't know, this is a bit scary. For example, when I worked with my first psychotherapist, her charge was double what was in my savings account. And a lot of you might be like, holy shit, that was a really dumb idea. And when I told my partner at the time, he just made this face like, what have you done? And there was just something in my soul that was like, I'm sick of my shit. I'm sick of waking up feeling flat when I know my life is so good. I'm sick of not truly thriving. I'm sick of running these same stories about always being stressed, never having enough, always worrying about the next thing. I'm done. I'm done with my own bullshit. And sometimes we have to get to that point, right? Who's there? Is anyone else truly done with their own bullshit when it comes to making money? Yeah. So when you get to that point of being truly done is when you're fully open and ready for change. And that's the best place to be, because you're more malleable. You're more willing to go, yeah, okay, I'm with you. I'll do what you need me to do. I'll go to the dark places. I'll do the hard thing. Because just a heads up, women, you can do hard things, all right? You're women. So let's shed that fear, step forward into your power, into your greatness, and go, yeah, I'm ready to invest in myself. And that is, like I said, not a selfish thing. Because the person that you become from investing in yourself, whether that's in a retreat, whether that's a coaching package, whether that's bringing your business to life, you are declaring to your ego, you're declaring to your old ways of being, and you're declaring to the world that you are ready for more and that you desire to be the most aligned, true version of yourself. And how is that a bad thing? Ever, right? That is just the most juicy thing that you could offer this planet, because your vibration is so impactful, way more than you know. And the version of you that isn't stressed out about money is absolutely going to be a more generous friend, a more present mother, a more creative business person, because you've removed one of the very core things that keep us in fight or flight. You know, when we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is number one. If we don't feel safe, and a lot of us do connect safety and security with being financially stable, if we heal that and we create grounding for ourselves, not through the external. Like I said, we're talking all about the internal world first. How do you create safety and security for your emotional well-being first? The physical world will catch up. When we tend to that need of that foundational need of being human, we then can move up to go, oh, sweet, now I can be healthy, now I can be vital, now I can put more energy into being creative, into being expressive. And we know that's where the magic comes from, especially being a woman. If we're stressed and stuck in that first foundational piece about not feeling safe, we are not a turned on version of ourselves, right? We are not activated. We are not bringing the light. So please, if you take one thing from this, is that as you are so damn worthy to thrive, because that is the most selfless thing you can do. Because the way that you'll show up to life and show up to your beloveds is out of this world compared to when you're burned out, exhausted, not making money, stressed out, and not knowing what the next step is. So I hope this has served. I have a few other questions and I might answer them on my story, so stay tuned there. But if you feel like your soul is just screaming and going, fuck yes, I'm sick of my shit, I want to work at this, I want to be done with this well and truly, let's open up this dialogue, let's create a more loving relationship with money. I offer coaching packages, and I'm doing this really random thing that for the next 2 weeks, I'm doing one-off sessions because I feel like people are wanting quick alignment and quick clarity. And it's that time of year that sets you up for the rest of the year. So if you're willing to lean in, $197, it's my special price for a one-off session. The link is in my bio. You can check out and fill in a submission form there to see if it's a right fit for you to work with me. But I feel like a lot of people have this money thing right now, and I'm getting so many messages and so many comments around their stories around money, and so I just feel like you're asking for it. And usually I would love to go a lot deeper into the work, but I also know the benefit of just having your fears acknowledged, dug out, seen, and alchemized in a really quick space. So that offer is up there. Links in my bio if you want to get on the phone before February 1 for the special price. Otherwise, I'll be here talking about money because I feel like this is the year of orgasmic prosperity, my people, and you are so worthy of thriving. So much love.